Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, then welcome. My name's Christina and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So before you go, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. We are going to be doing a first impression and wear test of the brand new Glossier Stretch Foundation. This package came in like less than an hour ago, so let's pop it open and talk all about it. And I purchased the Stretch Foundation in the shade Medium Tan 1, and I also got a brand new Stretch Balm Concealer in also Medium Tan 1. I have older ones, but they're different shades now. Just right off the bat, they look a little bit dark, but we will see. We'll see how this looks on the skin. It was kind of hard for me to find a shade match. I reached out to Glossier to kind of pick their brains on like how they would match it. I tried to base it off of the model photos as well as the descriptions, but I don't know. I was between like 3 shades or so, and I finally landed on Medium Tan 1. All right, I'm on their website right now. It says that the foundation is 89% skincare based. It's a gel cream foundation, leaves skin looking moisturized with a natural to you finish. And it's supposed to have up to 12 hours of wear, transfer resistant, crease resistant, sweat resistant, and vegan. It also contains squalane and glycerin to help support the moisture barrier and nourish the skin. It says that they have wild roseberry and plankton extract, which is supposed to help balance the look of excess shine. So it's supposed to also work for those with oily skin. And if you guys do not know, I do have combination normal to oily skin as well as acne prone skin. It says it has light to medium coverage with a natural finish. Oh, maybe I'll pull out my old one. Okay, I have 2 stretch concealers, and honestly, I know that one is way older than the other, but I can't remember which. So one of them is labeled as G7, and I think this is probably one of the newer ones, like the newer one of the 2 that I have. And then the other one I have is shade dark. That's not even dark. So I'm just going to prep my skin with my Glow Recipe Niacinamide drops just to add some hydration and act like a moisturizer here. I do have some active breakouts right here. They're pimples that are turning into whiteheads. I have one here as well, and then I have a couple of healing spots right here too. I did not buy the brush. I really wanted to, but I couldn't justify it because I have so many brushes. So what I'm going to be using today to apply the foundation is this BK Beauty 101 brush. To prep the skin, I am going to use a primer on both sides, but I'm going to use different primers. On the left side, I'm going to be doing this pore filling primer from e.l.f. And then on the right side, I'm going to be doing the Power Grip primer. First, I'm going to do the putty. I'm going to put this on the left side here. And I kind of want to create like an even canvas on those healing spots right there. And on my right side, I'm going in with that Power Grip primer. I'm gonna spread this all over the face. I have this bug bite on my neck and it's really itchy right now. So it says on the website to use 1 to 2 pumps of foundation, so we're gonna do that. It looks fairly dark here, but it might match my body because my body is a little bit darker than my face. So I'm just gonna go and dot that in. And hopefully, because they are supposed to be flexible shades, hopefully it's flexible enough. And I think I'm going to go in with a slight tapping and buffing motion. Okay, it's definitely way darker than my actual face, but I kind of like that. I unfortunately don't think I can spot conceal with this concealer because of that. It seems to be blending in pretty nicely. If anything, it's just like a half shade too dark for my body. This coverage is actually pretty impressive. Like, it's evened out my skin tone almost completely. You can see those healing acne scars still through it, but it's very much toned down. I feel like the redness in my skin is pretty much gone, and it looks hydrating, but at the same time it looks mattifying. Like where it matters, like right here on the tops of my cheekbones, I feel like I still look pretty hydrated, as well as on top of my brow bone. But on the majority of my cheek, I almost feel like it looks like it dried down for the most part. It's not going into my pores, but again, this side is with the pore filling primer, so we'll see how it does on the gripping side. I felt like it was going to be way more dewy, but I actually appreciate that it doesn't look more dewy than just like my regular skin. Going in with 1 pump of foundation here on that same brush, and I'm gonna stipple this in the same way that we did before. Well, did you guys see how it covered up the redness in that pimple? like those 2 pimples right there. All right, immediately, can you guys see a difference in the finish of it? I think the majority of it has to do with the primers I used. This side has the Power Grip Primer that does come off more like a gel texture and it dries down, but it almost looks like a dewy sheen, while the left side here has the Pore Filling Primer, and I feel like it filled in the pores and almost mattified the skin, while this side kind of had the foundation go on it and still look really dewy almost. So I think if you're more oily, go for something that's mattifying or pore filling if you want to keep that matte look going or that more matte look going. And if you want something dewy, go in with a more hydrating, maybe a highlight type of primer. You'll be able to get that look. But wow, that was such a dramatic difference with the finish on both of these, huh? Man, I really thought I got the shade right. I'm gonna definitely have to go down a shade. I think for me, now that I know this, maybe I'll do medium 5, which was my second choice. Okay, let's just go in with the Stretch Balm Concealer on top of those acne scars, and then we'll brighten up with the older shades that I have that are definitely a lot brighter. So I'm gonna go in and just use my finger, I think, to place it onto the skin. Again, same balmy consistency, very serum-like, very slick here. And I'm gonna use this and just tap it in there. A super hydrating concealer for sure, and it's buildable as well, but you want to be careful because it is very like melty, almost like very creamy. You don't want to overdo it, especially if you have more oily skin like I do. Just go in with very thin layers at first and then build on top of that. And then I think I'll go in with the G7 shade that I have here. Much lighter, and I'm gonna use this all over the face to brighten, mainly under my eyes, and I might bring it down a little just to lighten up the skin. Oh, I forgot how nice this concealer is. It's so balmy. So here is the skin with the foundation as well as that Stretch Balm Concealer. It's looking pretty good. I will say that I feel like I lost a little bit of that coverage right here once I put the concealer on top. I almost feel like it lifted the foundation off, but everything else is looking pretty nice. I definitely feel like that concealer changes the way that the actual foundation is sitting on the skin. I do feel like I look even more hydrated on this side, mainly where I put that concealer though. Everything smoothed over really easily, very nicely. It blended in pretty much seamlessly. I think that the formulation had a good dry down time. Like I felt like I was able to blend everything in without having to rush, I guess, to get it all blended out before it dried down. Nothing looks patchy or cakey. I feel like it really just sat on the skin really nicely. I'm pleased with this first application. I really am. So now what I'm going to do is finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back so we can talk about all my thoughts. All right, I'm back with my finished face. This is what everything is looking like on the skin. Both sides are looking fairly dewy. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I use that stretch concealer, which does have a lot more of a hydration content to it. And I did use cream bronzer and cream blush. So cream products are always going to be a little bit more dewy than say a powder blush or bronzer. Now I will say that this concealer, I forgot how nice it was under the eyes. I love how hydrated they look. They're creasing just a tiny bit because of how hydrating it is. But honestly, I feel like at this point, it's the powder that I use to set. I feel like I need a new powder for setting under the eyes. Right now I'm using the Kosas one, but I don't think that it's mattifying enough for under the eyes. So if you guys have any recommendations, leave them in the comments down below for me. The skin looks like healthy skin. If you want something that's gonna look just like healthy, dewy skin, this is a great option for you. Now, if you like something a little less dewy than what's on my face right now, I still think that the foundation would be a good option because you can kind of control the finish of it like you guys saw. You can use something that's a little bit more pore filling, a little bit more mattifying, and still have that foundation look like natural skin. I don't feel like it's settling in any of my fine lines. I think it looks great on the forehead. It's looking really nice in like these crevices right here around my nose. I'm not having any issues with that. I really enjoyed the way that this blended into the skin and the way it applied onto the skin. It's already 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so I'm not going to be wearing this for 12 hours. I don't really want to wear a full face of makeup until 3 a.m., but I'm going to try to do as long as I can throughout the day, and I'll check in periodically to just show you guys what it's looking like. I will take some photos as well, some flash photos and some natural light photos, so you can kind of see and compare what they look like. I don't believe there's going to be any flashback. I don't think there's any SPF in this. If you are a foundation twin of mine, I would recommend that you stay in the medium category and not the medium tan like I did. It matches right now. I can get it to match, but I definitely think if I want it to work for me in the long run, I should probably switch to a lighter foundation. We will see how this lasts. Honestly, it feels more hydrating than I typically want my foundation to start off with, you know, like this is kind of where I want it, like midday. So I'm a little bit nervous about the staying power of it just because I can tend to get quite oily, especially when it is more hot and humid outside. But we will see. I could be completely wrong. I'll probably check in around 6 o'clock and then I'll do my last check-in and then I'll wrap it up and let you guys know my final thoughts at the end of the night. Checking in right now. It's 7:15. We're outside. We're leaving Target. I think I look pretty oily, to be honest. What do you think, Jed? Oily?
Not too bad.
I feel like
a little bit shiny.
Yeah, I feel like I look more oily than I want to.
Oily, polished.
Yeah, so definitely more oily than we started off. You can see the oils gathering here, pretty much my T-zone. But it looks like my bronzer and my blush are staying put. The concealer is kind of creasing right here, but again, it is a little bit more of a hydrating formula. So we were seeing that right after I finished my makeup anyways. It's been 4 hours, so we'll see what it looks like in another probably 3 or 4 more hours. Hey guys, it's the end of the night. It is 10 o'clock at night, so I've had this on for roughly 7 hours now, and this is what the face is looking like currently. It is pretty oily, and I do have some thoughts. So as you guys can see, I'm definitely quite oily. Now, I do want to preface and say that today I only set my face with the Kosas Cloud Set powder. I just used this small Kosas powder. Mine's actually broken, so I have to hold it upside down because there's powder in there. But this is in the shade Comfy. Typically what I do to make sure that my makeup lasts all day is I'll set my face with this powder and then I'll go in and bake in the areas that I get really oily. For that, I would use my Huda Beauty baking powder. Now today I did not do that. I just really liked the way that my face had looked whenever I finished the foundation and I went in with this powder, and I kind of felt like, you know, it looked really nice. It didn't look like it was overly shiny, and I wanted to just wear that one powder and see how it did. I do want to play around with this foundation a little bit more as far as the longevity goes. I'll go in and I'll bake right under my eyes, and then I'll take everything like down my T-zone and then just use the excess powder all over the face. I think that maybe it would help to control those oils a little bit better. This foundation does claim that it's supposed to work for all skin types though, including oily skin. I mean, it even says that it has specific ingredients in there that are supposed to help with the oils, but unfortunately for me, I don't really think that it did that. I am quite oily, probably to the point where I'm just like not comfortable with it. I would not go out with my face looking like this without touching it up. I would probably go in with a blotting sheet and go in with some powder if I have to. I don't think that it's transfer proof because if you guys can see, I just changed out my nose ring. I switched it to a hoop, just playing around with it, and I did go in, you know, I had to take out my old hoop, put this one in and like pinch it and all that stuff. And all of the foundation that's on that nostril right there is completely gone. Now, granted, I did do that just maybe 15 minutes ago, so my face was already quite oily. All of that to say, if you do already have oils producing on your skin, I think that it's gonna mess with the integrity of the foundation and it's just gonna kind of like slip off. I don't know if that would be the case when it's freshly applied. Oh, it's kind of like cakey and dry under my lip though. That's interesting. I'll show you guys. Now, I was out of the house from 6 to 9 or something like that, and it was pretty humid. It was pretty hot, so I was out like in a different environment, It was hot, I got sweaty, I got oily, you know, so I'm sure that if I were like indoors, it would wear a little bit differently. Would I recommend this foundation? I think that this looked really beautiful, very skin-like, very natural on this skin when I first applied it. I really liked the way it looked. I think that the initial application is really great. It's super seamless. It's so easy to blend. I would probably go down a shade like I mentioned, but the actual application and everything, really beautiful, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone that tends to get excessively oily, or if you just like that matte look, this is not the foundation for you. If you tend to have very dry skin, this would probably work really nicely. I could see people really liking the coverage on this, the blendability of it, you know, the ease of use. I think that would be great, but if you do have oily skin and you want to try it out or you want to make it work, I would definitely suggest to play around with different powders, see what it meshes with well. I mean, what I used with it, it didn't seem to interact with other products like the cream blush bronzer and the powders, you know. It seemed to work perfectly fine with those. This foundation is okay. It didn't blow me away, but it's also not a terrible foundation. I don't know if this is going to be my everyday go-to foundation, especially if I have to get it to work for me, you know, like I have to put extra care into getting it to work. It's a little bit more of a high maintenance foundation for someone that has oily skin like I do. I do want to see how I can get this to a place where I'm really happy with it for long periods of time, like wearing it for long periods of time. I will be linking all the products that I use in this video right here within the video. If you look on the left hand side, you'll see a little shopping bag icon, and if you click on it, it says view products, and it'll give you a drop down of all the products that I use, and it'll take you directly to the website. All right guys, I hope that this was insightful for you. I hope it was helpful. If you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.